Welcome to the Unlocking Senior Resources podcast by Leave the Key. I'm Larry Wagner, and I've spent 30 years working with seniors, where I was a certified senior advisor, and the last 15 years in the home buying industry as a certified senior transition specialist, where I specialize in dealing with seniors going through a transition in their lives. This podcast is for seniors, those with seniors they love, and people who work in the senior community. In each episode, we bring on a guest who works to improve the lives of seniors. This podcast is your key to unlocking senior resources. Hello, today I'm here with Stuart Almer, President and CEO of Gurwin Healthcare Systems. Well, welcome, Stuart.
Great.
How are you doing today, Stu? So, you're the chairman and CEO, important title, of a very big organization. I remember Gurwin, it was a one-building nursing home, I guess, at its origin. Is that fair?
So our origin is in the late 1980s.
Right.
We've grown a lot over the past few decades, very thankfully providing community healthcare services to members of Nassau and Suffolk County and well beyond. We've grown very nicely over the years, and I'm happy to be here today to talk about it.
I'm happy to have you. You're one of my most prestigious guests. Most people I've talked to are small operators, small business people. You are not a small business person. So Gurwin is become so much bigger than so many people all around. And you told me in our pre-discussion that it's a nonprofit organization. I had no idea. I assumed it was a successful, profitable enterprise.
So regardless of our size,
Right.
We like to operate as if we were a small entity.
Right.
Meaning our hands are on everything. We're a very caring organization, and that's a very important theme throughout everything that we do. We do own and operate 7 companies in its entirety.
Amazing.
All of our companies are nonprofits. We're mission-based. Anytime we develop a new venture, it's important that we stay close to our mission. One of the things I'd like to talk to you about today is the development of our life plan community, Fountaingate Gardens, which is a wonderful extension of everything we're doing to take care of folks who are aging.
I was watching that being developed. I was watching a promotional material and so on, and it's not far from me. It's about 15 minutes from where we are today or so. And it's an incredible operation. It's an incredible community. I don't want to say operation, an incredible community. You built something, you took what you had before, which was the one Gurwin building, and built the whole community around it, or beside it, I guess is more accurate. So talk about, you mentioned it's a life plan community. I come from the financial planning background. We used to be the CCRC, the Continuing Care Retirement Community. But you said the new language is life plan community, which sounds more optimistic, more positive. I like it better.
It is.
Yeah.
And really what we've created is a lifestyle for individuals, individuals who now can come and enjoy in our system.
Right.
Prior to the development of Fountaingate, individuals would really enter our system and utilize our services, mostly coming from the hospital. Now that's been a sea change, and many individuals who join us now enter our system through the independent living side.
Right.
And should they ever need the resources available from either our assisted living community, or if they need short-term rehab, or to become permanent long-term care residents, they're basically buying into those services across our system. So this has been quite a change for us, very positive. So individuals from the community, and these are mostly individuals who've lived locally in the community,
Right.
They've done well, they've been in their homes 30, 40, even 50 years,
Right.
and now there's an opportunity to not only make life easier for them,
Right.
but in many cases also to enhance their lifestyle. So when we talk about joining a life plan community, we talk about lifestyle, we talk about security, we talk about relationships, because the thing that we find the most in being with our residents, or we call them members in this community, is that they want the socialization. The many individuals age in place at home.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just one individual, a spouse or partner is no longer here, and it's isolating for them.
Yes.
So we found that we've really cultivated a wonderful community of members, about 90 plus members who now live with us on our campus, and really find that the socialization is key.
My parents, it took me a year to get them to move to independent living. And one of the things was they were very social people, bridge players. Everyone of their friends played bridge, and incredibly social. And they had 50 couples of friends. That's a lot of couples of friends. And by the time they moved into the facility, into the independent living, they were down to about 2. They had all either passed away or moved away, or one of the members of the couple passed, were no longer viable bridge players. My mother always tried to make a little shidduch, try to get the 2 people together who lost their spouses to try to keep them in the loop. But even that died out after a while, and they were lonely, even though they were still married and living together. And my father was still working, and they were in the mid-80s. I got them to finally agree to move to independent living. I said, move when you're well, which you and I were talking about, we'll discuss, and move when you can enjoy what's there to offer. And they did. It was a wonderful thing. What you bring to the table is the whole progressive issue. My mother developed, I've mentioned this many times, Lewy body dementia. And she was able to stay where she was, but she was totally isolated. She wasn't allowed basically out of her apartment because we didn't allow her out of the apartment. She wasn't allowed in the dining room at all. But it wasn't fair to the community to have my mother, who was basically a shriveled up cripple. She was what she became, unfortunately, just a little contorted in a wheelchair with a 24-hour nurse, being in the lobby, greeting people. That's not what you go to independent living for. So, but we didn't want to move her somewhere else. They were kind enough to let us leave her there until she passed. But in your case, you have much more ability to handle somebody like that.
And that's the advantage here, because we don't want to separate couples.
Correct.
That's not what it's all about. So, typically if we see something is changing for an individual who's living in our community, it's a process. It's a lot of education. We work with them very closely with the family. We see something may be changing, and your husband or your wife might be best suited now going forward to be in our assisted living community, or to be in for short-term rehab or the nursing home.
Right.
And it's a conversation, it's a process, but they're not leaving the campus. They're in the family. So in the 2-3 years that we're now open, we've seen many members, need to move on for their care needs, but the loved one is still there on the campus. And we work very hard to make sure that just because someone goes from one building to another, the team is there, the supports are there. You're still in the community. They still see all of us. It's important that they feel connected. They were not abandoned. And that's what works here. One nice thing about the community that we have in our members, there's a lot of commonality among our members. We know a lot about our members. For example, we know that 60% of our members are former school teachers. We have many retired engineers. So we know the hobbies and interests of those individuals. We've done a very deep dive here. And it helps in terms of their relationships because, for example, we have a book club, a gardening club, a walking club. We have so many are retired professionals. And so their common grounds and commonalities allow them to come together to develop relationships. In fact, before we opened a few years ago, and really during the COVID period, anyone who was interested in joining our community, we started having Zooms when Zoom became popular. And so there were weekly calls amongst the members. We would give them an update about Fountaingate, its development. But then it took on a life of its own, and they began to keep their own call weekly amongst members and fostered friendships, relationships that they have today.
That's very nice.
So when done right, done well, and you know about your members so you can create the right environment for them, it really does work.
Absolutely. You have a community. And as you said, these people living, in many cases, an isolated life, and now they're still in a brand new community with everyone who's like them. And I assume there's a limited age bracket, if you will, for members of the community?
Yeah, so one has to be 62 and over to move into a life plan community. Our average age is higher than that. We differ from a typical 55 and over community in that those are typically a rental situation. And with Fountaingate, with a life plan community, you're buying into the system. So I'd like to just explain how that works. So for someone to join us, they're paying an entry fee as if you were buying a home and putting down a deposit, paying for your home. It's an all-inclusive approach. So that entry fee, which could be on the low end from $400,000
Right.
to $1 million.
So it depends what kind of space you're buying?
Yes.
Okay.
So whether you're buying a one bedroom, whether you're facing the water, whether it's a two bedroom,
Right.
whether you're in a smaller building, the larger building, a lot of factors matter.
Right. Mm-hmm.
However, once you're buying in like an all-inclusive.
Right.
So for example, all of the amenities that we offer, which I'll get into,
Right.
are covered. Housekeeping, maintenance services, use of the bocce court,
Mm-hmm.
Also the pickleball court.
That's
Whether
a
you
biggie.
swim in the saltwater
Yeah.
heated pool
Wow.
is included. The parking space that you have underground, or if you choose to be above ground, you have access to. The salon. I can go on and on. There are
Right.
so many amenities that is all part of it when you buy in. We often do with prospective members, we'll do a side-by-side comparison
Mm-hmm.
so they understand that, okay, before you were paying separately for the
Right.
utilities, for your taxes,
Yeah.
for your cable TV,
Yeah.
for your gym membership,
Right.
your parking spot, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
and we do the side-by-side comparison, we can demonstrate that it will be worthwhile for them financially to make the move, aside from it being easier.
That's interesting. So they're selling their home. They're taking that money and basically buying a new home. The home
Yes.
happens to be, they don't actually physically own anything. So like buying almost a co-op, if you will. You don't own a piece of the
Yeah.
company. There is no company, but you're buying something ethereal, a
I
lifestyle.
often refer to it as a rental slash
Right.
cooperative almost.
There you go.
But if someone elects to leave us someday,
Yeah.
or they move on to another
I was
level of
gonna ask
care,
that.
they receive, or it can be bequested to someone,
Right.
80% back of that entry fee.
Right.
Think of it as if you bought a home, you paid
Yeah.
for your home,
Right.
and you then sold it, and
Right.
you receive those monies upon the sale.
Right.
That's how it works.
Yep.
There is also a monthly maintenance fee. Obviously, we have to
Mhm.
maintain the facilities.
Yeah.
And although you're entitled to a certain number of days of care in assisted living or nursing home, you can purchase a life plan package. We're regulated that we can offer this almost
Mhm.
like an insurance product,
Hmm.
so that someone can pay a fee
Interesting.
per individual, and it would provide unlimited lifetime care in either assisted living or the nursing home.
That's
So
interesting.
many folks make that decision upon entry,
Right.
whether they believe this will work for them.
Is it a one-shot payment or is it a monthly payment kind of thing?
It's both.
Okay.
There's a one shot, upfront, and
Right.
then there is an ongoing monthly
For
fee
that potential coverage that you may
for
not
that
use.
extra coverage.
That's
If someone
interesting.
has a long-term care policy,
Right.
we'll review that policy with them.
Right.
It may not be worthwhile for them to
Right.
purchase that additional coverage. Some do. Every plan is different.
Right.
But it's a safety net.
Right.
And again, the proof is that over the short time, we've had a handful of members who have moved on,
Right.
and they had that package, and it's been worthwhile for them. Like anything else,
Right.
it's a risk, but when you need it, you're very grateful that you did that.
I had sold my folks long-term care insurance. I bought it myself back when I was 45. I was selling it to clients. I said, I need to buy it for myself to really believe in it. But my parents both had it. My father never used it, but my mother did. And the money she received back in benefits paid for hers, paid for my father's, and then some on top of that. So it was worthwhile having it. She could have lived another 2 or 3 years the way she was, and it surely would have paid for itself. So you're exactly the same situation. So, but they're going to get care where they are, if you will, in that community.
And regardless if someone's selecting the life plan package,
Yeah.
once you're in the community, you're at Gurwin, you're
Right.
already in our system.
Right.
We're going to help
Right.
you. If someone needed assistance with a Medicaid application, whatever
Right.
it may be,
Right.
we're going to help you. You're already in the Gurwin family. In
Right.
fact, before the members even moved into Fountaingate, some residents had care needs.
Right.
We took care of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to turn to us for support. And again, when we talk to the children of the members who live with us,
Mhm.
they're very happy that their parents
Right.
chose a Gurwin and chose Fountaingate to live, because again, for that safety net.
And you have a reputation. You've been around a long time. I mean, you said since 1984, I think you said, or late 80s?
So we were incorporated in the mid 1980s and
1980s,
opened
right.
in the late 1980s.
Okay.
We started with our large skilled nursing facility, which is 460 beds with a
Yeah.
plethora of services available there.
Right.
At Gurwin, we own and operate 2 adult daycare programs,
Wow.
2 home care agencies that service all of our buildings and the community. We have a dialysis center, a ventilator unit. We have 2 memory care programs, our assisted living facility, and I can go on and on. So there's nothing that we don't do
Right.
in the post-acute care world.
Right.
So one advantage folks have in choosing our life plan community, our particular community, is that we're known for healthcare.
Right.
We have a strong, solid reputation.
You do.
And it goes back to where I started when I said it really starts with caring from the top.
Right.
I assure any member who joins us, they will find the nicest staff to work with.
Yep.
I so believe that if we take good care of our staff and hire the right people, they're the folks who are taking care of our members, our patients, our residents, and it truly works. We've done a great job during difficult times in recruiting and retaining our staff.
Right.
And I just had this conversation yesterday at a member meeting at Fountaingate that our wonderful staff will continue to take very good care of everyone. We invest in our staff.
Right.
We have a very strong reputation, and we want to keep it that way. And it requires a lot of work during very challenging times.
It does. And getting staff today is very difficult. You were discussing before, you said you had a staff of 1,200 people, including your workers off campus, healthcare workers and so on.
Correct. So many of our staff are providing home care services.
Right.
So they're in the community, they're out and about. But between the adult day programs, and we have another facility in Holtzville known as Island Nursing and Rehab Center, we've grown quite large and quite prominent. Yeah. We have a great relationship with the hospital systems. That's another advantage as well. Folks who live in our Fountaingate community have very easy access to quality healthcare services, not just what we offer at Gurwin, but along Comac Road, which is the main cross-through road. 3 major tertiary facilities, all with specialized care, all operate along that area. Yeah. From a entertainment standpoint or other amenities outside of our campus, many restaurants, lots of activities. Yeah. If someone wanted to go out to the East End or to New York City, we also provide transportation for those services. We'll take members, residents too, from our assisted living community. We'll take them to wineries, shopping,
really? That's nice.
Medical appointments.
Do you have a
theaters.
distance that you travel for things like medical appointments and so on? There's a list.
It's usually relatively local,
usually it's
but
5 miles
if we
or
can,
something.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
But again, that's the advantage of being where we are.
Yep.
It's really a hub for healthcare.
Right.
And that's important to everyone.
Absolutely.
Whether they need it now or in the future.
And it's typical where you're supplying 3 meals a day and whatnot? In the Fountaingate, or the kitchens?
That's a good question. Yeah. So when part of the package, again, it's all inclusive, there are meal credits. Okay. So it's the equivalent of 1 meal a day. Okay. So we see all of our members every evening in our beautiful big dining room. Right. But you can pool those credits and use it for a guest who's visiting. Right. Okay. If you're away for a weekend, and you can use those credits another time for a breakfast or a lunch. Right. We have not only a beautiful, elegant dining room. Right. We have a bistro, which is more of a casual dining location. Right. And we have a pub. So we have a liquor license. We serve alcohol as well. That's of interest to many.
I thought of that. Yes. I wouldn't have asked that question. Do you have a liquor license? That wasn't on my list of questions.
Well, we just got it, so I'm very happy to tout that we now have it. We were able to provide it before, but we need a license for sale. Right. Yeah. And so we're happy to be offering that. There's just so much that we offer. We have a movie theater room within our building. Right. We have a gym with state-of-the-art equipment. Right. We actually have on our staff a full-time dedicated personal trainer. Full-time. So each member has a few hours of personal trainer time per month. And so
that's part of their regular.
It's all included. One other service we recently added, which many have taken advantage of, is if someone needed therapy services, occupational or physical therapy, we now have a service that's provided in-house if anyone should need it. Wow. If they have a script from their physician and they need rehab, we now provide it in-house. That's very important. Yeah. It keeps people in the building. It gets them well. and it's been very well received since we began that. But for the most part, folks who join us need to be independent.
Yep.
That's important. The community is an independent community.
Mm-hmm.
Someone could, need an assistive device, which is fine.
Yep.
But for the most part, we promote independence. And
Yep.
really a key thing I want to express to everyone, on this interview today is the importance of making a good informed decision and making decisions when healthy, when well.
Preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir.
Yeah. In this line of work, providing this type of service, most often we're working with people who are in a crisis to some extent.
Right.
And it's very difficult to plan when in crisis.
Yes. And you have to compromise. You have to take what's available and things of that nature. But,
well, it's also harder to make decisions, and you're
Yeah.
rushing to make decisions,
Yeah.
or you're scampering for paperwork to process an application for services. It's not the way to do things. So
Right.
to make a decision like this, which is life-changing for folks who've
Oh,
been in
yeah.
a home for many years, you want to make an informed decision, not under duress, not under pressure.
Yeah.
And those decisions are usually best when done that way.
Hi, I'm Larry. And I'm Ben. We're the father and son team of Leave the Key Home Buyers, and we want to buy your house.
We specialize in working with seniors who are transitioning out of their homes, and we understand what you were going through.
So if you're considering selling your home and would like an alternative to the traditional overwhelming process, reach out and see how we can help.
Do you have an outdated home?
No need to update anything.
Have a home that needs repairs?
Don't bother with repairs.
Don't want to take everything with you?
Leave whatever you want behind.
Dreading the headaches that come with agents?
Sell your home without paying a commission.
Dreading prying neighbors attending open houses and passing judgment on your home?
No need for public showings.
When you sell to us, you'll have all the certainty of closing on your timeline, not someone else's, and there's absolutely no pressure.
Visit leavethekey.com or call us today for a no-obligation offer at 631-388-7771 if you want to sell your home today.
You're 100% correct. And it's a very traumatic decision when you're well, much more when you're not well and you're under duress. My mother, when I said it took me a year. It took me 6 months to convince my siblings to get on board. My wife and I were on the same team. My siblings were not, and it took another 6 months for then all of us to convince my parents. And my mother said, going to independent living is where you go to die. But no, it's where they went to live. And people don't think of that. They were reborn there. And the activities you said you had in your place. So if someone's moving into your place, you're talking about moving in the right time. They're well. They're coming as they want to come in. Coming in, they have cognition in their favor and the physical ability. What kind of activity? You mentioned some of the activities. Sure. What kind of clubs? You mentioned the couple.
Sure.
There must be a whole bunch.
There are many,
activities.
and many of them actually are member-driven.
Yes.
For example, we have a beautiful arts and crafts room. We have a member of our community, Maddie is her name, I can say that. She runs that program, and she runs it so well. She's so talented. Right. I happened to walk in today, and they were, painting Easter eggs. And everybody was happy and engaged, and that one is member-driven. Right. We have staff who are dedicated, who focus on life enhancement, so they're providing all those activities and recreational services. But we also have a book club, a gardening club, a walking club. And many of the things that we do are ideas that the members have, and we make happen. Right. All types of fun activities, karaoke, bingo, anything you can imagine. We even have, we've done aquatic therapy in our pool. Really no end to what we do. We are
indoor or outdoor pool?
Indoor
pool.
Heated saltwater pool. It's beautiful. We're soon installing a putting green on the property for those who might want to play a little golf.
And last year, want
to putt around, and even better, last year we opened up a dog park. We have a beautiful. It's the real
deal. So people allowed to bring pets?
They can bring their pets.
Oh wow!
And
do you have a size limit on pets?
We're pretty. we're pretty open and flexible.
Okay.
We want people to be able to,
Right.
enjoy our community and
Right.
their pets too. So there are several members that have dogs,
Right.
and it's great. It's not only it's good environmentally to
Yes.
right to keep the pets in one place,
Yep.
but it's a social activity.
Absolutely.
Right, whether you have a pet or not, to go and enjoy the park, and it's beautiful. It's the real deal. So we continue to work to bring things to make Fountaingate even better and to stand out, compared to other communities.
Have Maddie give me a call. I'll tell you why. I make toys for donation. Last year I made and donated 555 toys. And they're cars, trucks, and so on. And I give a whole bunch of them to a bunch of seniors in a community in Plainview. And they hand paint them. Maddie may want that as an activity for the arts and crafts group. Because most of the toys I deliver are natural wood. Because they can't paint 550. There's 8 of them. They can't paint 5. I make these toys in a short amount of time. They spend probably 5 or 6 times longer painting them. So, but if that's something she'd be interested in, have her reach out to me. I'd be happy to send toys over. I can bring them back. I assemble them, and then I donate them to different charities.
Many of the members, thank you. Many of the members have grandchildren, and they visit on weekends.
They're welcome to give them the grandchildren too.
Would be very well received, I'm sure.
I've given. It's so funny. One place I'd given. They said, give me 17. I gave them 17 toys. I got 0 back. No, they didn't give them to their grandchildren. They kept them. They were so proud of the work they did. I never got them back. So, all right. That was 17. The little kid's not going to get, but it's all right. But it was very funny. But I make these to help other people and give other people joy. So,
but what we're talking about is family and living and enjoyment. And again, it's all part of, a good, healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
This is what we focus on. And, one thing that I'm very proud of as CEO of my organization is how well everyone embraces this, how things get developed, how we're out in the community, and these things now happen organically, and very pleased about that. We've grown, not just in reputation, in size, in scope, in outreach. We also are a resource to many. We receive many calls of people just who have questions and need. They may never even come to our community.
Right.
But we strongly believe we help everyone who needs assistance. And I believe those good things come back to us. And thankfully for Gurwin, those things have come back to us.
In spades, without a doubt. How long have you been there?
So I joined Gurwin 10 years ago and have been president and CEO for the past 8 years.
Okay.
I've always enjoyed a very long history of knowing folks at Gurwin and living close by in the community.
Right.
And so for me to be here and serve the community in this capacity was a dream come true.
Who was the brainchild behind this incredible growth?
Good question. So Gurwin was formed really at what came out of a very rough period. The 1970s were a tough time for facility institutional care. There were very high-profile issues that were known in psychiatric facilities and in nursing homes all during that time.
Yeah.
So a number of community leaders, Jewish community leaders, came together and wanted to form a skilled nursing facility that initially was intended to serve primarily the Jewish community. They came together, formed Gurwin, which at that time was a 300-bed nursing home. No one knew at that time that would develop into the continuum of care that we have today and the scope of what we offer. But it's important to note that we serve all. Although we have Jewish tradition and roots, our mission is very clear that we serve all. And we serve so many different communities in our different programs that we have. And again, we're proud of that. We have a very diverse staff, a wonderful staff, and again, just proud of what we've developed.
Do you keep a kosher kitchen there? Being a
so in our center, we call it the center, our nursing home. We are fully glatt kosher, as well as in our assisted living community. Not the case for Fountaingate. We open that kosher style.
Correct.
And our island facility is not. So these are decisions that we make based upon the demographics, history, the market that is there.
Absolutely. You want to be a broader market, and being kosher and glatt kosher is incredibly expensive.
But if someone wants, desires glatt kosher food and they're in one of our buildings that does not offer it, we'll provide it. Because we have 2 kitchens in 2 of the buildings that we provide it. And so we have the proper rabbinical supervision
Right.
for kosher dining. So we certainly want to encourage those who observe kashrut to utilize our facilities.
Right. So, how many apartments in Fountain? Is that right? Where in Fountaingate are they apartments?
So they are. So
Okay.
we have 129 apartments in 2 buildings. The buildings are connected to a central clubhouse.
Right.
One of the buildings has 27 units, and the other 102, comprising the 129.
That seems balanced. Yeah.
Well, but it's interesting. Some folks like the bigger building with 102 units. Again, the socialization.
Yeah.
Others prefer the smaller building.
Right.
So it just provides options.
Right.
For folks.
Interesting.
They're all 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Many have terraces, with beautiful fountains and stream, filled with fish. Lots of wildlife all of a sudden appear, which will start happening soon. And we enjoy watching that develop. So again, it's a very special place. We're also fortunate not only that we have this concept, but that we have it on a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
Most life plan communities are designed having the 3 components all in one big building, or one complex, with wings. We did it differently because we had already had established nursing home and assisted living facilities. We then decided to build the independent living, and then apply for the licensure as a life plan community. But one does not have to utilize us strictly as a life plan. Members come and they might be referred by the hospital and need rehabilitation. That is our niche.
It's interesting you said that. Perfect segue. You mentioned about rehabilitation earlier as part of the life plan community. My mother-in-law went through rehabilitation, and my father-in-law was in independent living. And we were shuttling him back and forth to see mom every day, back and forth and back and forth. And they were apart the whole day, except for the 2 or 2.5 hours he'd be with his wife. And because thank God it was only 10 minutes away. We were very fortunate it was so close. But it's so much more convenient. You're on the same campus if you have the ability to walk on over and spend time with your spouse who's who's in rehab.
We also have the ability to help transport folks if they're visiting a spouse, if they have difficulty getting around. We just built new walkways, and they're beautiful, that help connect our buildings a little bit easier for individuals. We want to make it easy for someone. We recognize that even though we're on the same campus, it's difficult for an individual to know their spouse is not, with them in their apartment, let's say, and that they're in another facility, even though it's on the campus. So we want to make it as easy as possible for them.
Yeah, it was very disturbing for my father-in-law, her being there. It didn't matter if there was an hour away or there was 10 minutes away. She wasn't here. So you're bringing here as close as possible. And that would have been so beneficial on just an emotional level. Forget the logistics of shuttling and whatnot, which was no big deal. But yeah, the life plan community makes so much sense. Long Island is an aging population. Young people aren't staying, and the young people can't stay here. It's too expensive. So the older people are getting older. So I'm a senior citizen. I don't know when the hell that happened, but it does. I guess I'm happy to be one versus not, but I'd rather be 30 again. So, but you can't do that. So with that in mind, I see the future of Long Island is exactly what you built. It really is. And people leave New York to go down to the Carolinas and Florida for these 55 and older communities because they want the easier to live and they don't want to take care of a house and so on. But this is taking that a whole nother level. Now you're not taking care of a house. You don't have to take care of yourself as much either. It's all there for you.
We've also come out of a tough winter.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Very cold, which can be isolating.
Yes.
And members don't necessarily have to leave the community.
Correct.
Everything is there for them. And if they are traveling somewhere and they have the underground parking, again, it's just made easier for them. Our buildings connect.
Right.
So, you can manage a little easier through the winter. I mean, imagine folks were still maybe at home, maybe even shoveling snow themselves, which maybe they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And so it's a safer environment for them.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So, fascinating discussion because I know Gurwin, I mentioned to you before we turned the cameras on that I owned a cabinet shop in the 1980s, and my shop is that built some of the furniture for the public spaces, the reception desk, and so on. So I know Gurwin from back then, back when you just long before you knew Gurwin, apparently, or long before you worked there. But I was impressed with the facility back in 1980, whatever it was. So the fact you're still around and in spades. I don't know any other. I'm trying to think. I don't know any other organization that has developed the way you have in this senior space here on Long Island. Is that am I missing anything, or is that a fair comment?
Well,
Especially in the nonprofit arena.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say. I mean, that's what really sets us apart.
Yeah.
We're large and diverse as a nonprofit in what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
This is a challenging industry,
Yeah.
and there are fewer nonprofits like Gurwin that are here.
Yeah.
And so we got to work very hard to stay viable
Right.
and to grow.
Right.
And thankfully, we've been able to do that.
Yeah. So, question you talked about before moving in at the right time, and don't wait till it's too late. Is there a way to describe what the right time is besides when you're well? And when do you know it's the right time to move into a place like Fountaingate?
So I don't mind, sharing
Yeah.
my own story.
Okay.
I've had two parents, and I've had to go through a process with them where I didn't have an opportunity to plan,
Right.
for one, just based upon events that
Yeah.
occurred. So I had to plan in a crisis. And by the way, it's never too late to plan.
Right.
It's never too
Never
late,
too.
but you want to do this as early on as possible. Do it now when all is well.
Yep.
It's not an easy thing to do. It's not like going to a store and want to buy a watch or a new coat or a
Right.
pair of shoes.
Right.
This is not something folks
No.
shop for too often. But you want to make it when you're not in crisis. Once my mom passed,
Yeah.
Dad and I
Yeah.
had a little bit of work to do,
Mm-hmm.
but we did it when all was well, when he was well and we were not under duress, and did some very good planning, and it all worked out. So I think advice I'll give to folks is, looking at the support of elder
Right.
care attorney is a very worthwhile investment.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage folks to do it. It's costly.
Yes.
You won't regret it.
Yep.
Because at some point, supports are needed. And
Correct.
you'll be grateful that you were able to get the supports you need, perhaps protect assets that you have
Yep.
that, mom and dad worked, all their lives for.
Right.
And you can do that and protect legally. So you definitely want to do this when you can. It's still stressful,
Right.
yet it's easier when done this way.
I just did I met with my elder law attorney about 2 years ago, and it was after my granddaughter was born. And our new wills and trusts and everything else, because I own 7 different, as many copies as Gurwin, 7. And it's about not quite 200 pages between my wife and me. So you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. My life, unfortunately, has gotten complicated. Being a business person, it makes things more complicated. But it was an investment well worth it, as you said. It's not as much for my benefit as for my kids' benefit, because I may not be able to take care of it. A lot of stuff is trust while I'm alive. A lot of it's stuff when I'm gone. But the more you put things in order now, the better off you are. And if people also move into Fountaingate, they're downsizing from a whole house. They're purging. They're making it the ultimate issue for their kids. Like when my parents left my parents moved to a facility but never sold their house. So I had a house to clean out after they were gone, and that was a nightmare. And about 40, 50 years, they lived in the house for 65 years. So the more you can do today, whether you're talking about Fountaingate or not, but as a senior, the more planning you can do today, it's an action of love for your beneficiaries. It really is.
Many individuals believe they know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? Smart, well-educated folks, but they think they know what to do. They think
Yeah.
they have an handle on assets and how to
Right.
move monies and what to do.
Right.
This is very specialized.
It
and
is.
Unfortunately, I've seen too many people make mistakes, and they'll share with me what they've done. I've said, okay,
Yeah.
I think you need to now engage an expert who will guide you. And again, it's never too late.
Right.
But again, too many people jump forward thinking they're making the right decision, and it can backfire.
Right.
Again, folks have worked their whole lives, and you want to be as protective and
Yep.
as you can.
Absolutely. So question. So Fountaingate is brand new. So anyone wants to move there, they're getting a brand new facility, which is nice. Number 2 is they're moving into a place run by a nonprofit. Number 3, it's a place that has been in business for almost, I guess, 40 years, right? Am I correct? Yeah, it's 25, so for over 40 years or 40 years. There's something really appealing about that, and it's beautiful. So to me, there's really no competition, and most places are independent living, nursing, or assisted. You give them all the options without having to change their life, if you will, more than the life changed them. So to me, it's a no-brainer if you want to remain as independent as possible for as long as possible. So I think it's a wonderful thing to do. There's so many things we can talk about because there's so many legs of Gurwin, so many arms that I think we'll have to have you back maybe another time to talk about other things. But if there's one takeaway you would like people to have from today, what would that takeaway be?
Yeah, I think I'll repeat something I said earlier. Don't plan in a crisis.
I think that's
plan when things are well, but also do your homework.
Yes.
It's easy to check reviews.
Yes.
Talk to friends and family who are in these communities.
Yep.
Do this side-by-side financial comparison that I spoke about.
Right.
That might help convince you that this is the way to go.
That was interesting.
Yeah. And it also, what's important to you? When I said earlier that we know a lot about our members.
Yes.
The members who choose us, per se, they've already known about Gurwin. They've known about our history, our legacy, and what we've done in healthcare.
Right.
So we don't have to necessarily talk about it so much. We know that they know about us.
Right.
So again, you have to look at what's important to you. If you're looking at, lifestyle, socialization, and see the other communities. We all do a very nice job in this arena. There are not too many of us who are life plan communities.
Yes.
We're just larger.
Right.
In all of our programs.
Yep.
Therefore, we have more resources.
Yep.
Our geography is great, right?
Yes.
The center of Long Island.
Yes.
And again, the healthcare component.
I was going to mention the healthcare component you bring to the table that's different than others, which is huge. I thank you so much for coming today. It was a real interesting conversation, and we'll definitely have you back again. Stu, did people get in touch with you? How do they find out more about Fountaingate or Gurwin in general?
So the Gurwin Healthcare System is our main website is www.gurwin.org. That's GURWIN.org.
Mm-hmm.
And through that website can be a link to Fountaingate, its own dedicated website, or any of the other programs and services that we offer. If someone just had a question and wanted to message us, we receive them, we answer them. And so it's easy to find me or anyone else in the system.
Perfect. Thank you so much again. You take care.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Unlocking Senior Resources podcast by Leave the Key. If you've enjoyed this episode or found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast. We specialize in working with seniors who are transitioning out of their homes, and we understand what you are going through. So if you are considering selling your home and would like an alternative to the traditional overwhelming process, reach out to see how we can help. When working with us, you can sell your home in its current condition, there is no need to remove unwanted items, and you control when the house is sold, along with so many other advantages. Visit leavethekey.com or call us at 631-388-7771 to learn more about our senior home buying process.